people are killed by guns each year? In Germany, 381. In France, 255. In Canada, 165. In the United Kingdom, 68. In Australia, 65. In Japan, 39. In the United States, 11,127.
Another clip from Bowling for Columbine, the groundbreaking documentary Michael Moore made 10 years ago. Michael, the whole issue of how politicians...
And by the way, Piers, if you add in the accidental shootings and the suicides by gun, that 11,000 number pretty much doubles.
I left before the break talking about the political void here, because I've just been stunned that no senior politician has even dared to mention guns. I haven't heard it from Mitt Romney. I haven't heard it from Barack Obama. Why is that?
I guess they're afraid to. I guess that they're part of the same problem of the fear in this country. We get afraid of so many things, and in this particular case, this is just the fear of not getting elected. There's no personal harm that's going to come to them if they take a position on this.
Well, we're going to play some footage from both the president and from Mitt Romney from 2007, the same year in which they said some, give them their silence now, pretty surprising things about guns. But first I want to play you a clip from Governor Chris Christie, who said this after Aurora.
I am a little bit disturbed by politicians who, in the immediate aftermath of this type of tragedy, try to grandstand on it, and I'm not going to be one of those people. I feel awfully for those families. There's two with New Jersey roots, one who was injured, one who was killed, and this is just not the appropriate time to be grandstanding about gun laws. Can we at least get through the initial grief and tragedy for these families before we start making them political pawns?
Now, I had somebody put this exact same point to me on Friday when we did a whole show on this, 12 hours after the incident happened. To me, it's a totally fatuous argument, because when are you supposed to talk about this? I mean, you're supposed to leave it a year? I mean, we know after all the previous, after Columbine, after Gabby Giffords, after all these things, nothing happens, because that kind of talk, and I have a lot of respect for Chris Christie, I like him personally very much, but I think it's a crass thing to say. You know, the time to talk, as I said on Friday, was probably the day before this happened. To have this debate loud and clear, to let the American public make their own minds up, because at the moment, they're not hearing why there should be gun control. They're not hearing anything. What they're doing is voting with their wallets and their feet, and they're going to gun stores to try and buy more guns because they believe that's the only way to stop themselves getting shot in movie theaters. That is why America is seeing such an escalation in its gun ownership, isn't it?
No, I think actually it's more because we're more easily scared than other people in other countries. And we respond differently to tragedy in such a dramatic way that goes way beyond reason and sanity. You know, 9/11 happens, we're attacked. Okay, let's send 100,000 troops to Afghanistan to get the, 200 people that were behind this. Or I think Saddam had something to do with 9/11. He's got weapons of mass destruction. Yes, I heard. Yes, and the weapons, they could be here in 45 minutes. I mean, this sort of thing that just gets whipped up in us, that's really the thing I'd like to talk about, because I want to know why we're a bunch of scaredy-cats in this way. Why we have to, we think that if we just have a gun, if I just have a gun, I'm going to be okay. And it's just... it's madness. It's absolute madness, and it's as I said, it's disappointing that the political leaders don't do something, because if Governor Christie's worried about the politicians who are saying something about it 12 hours after the shooting, trust me, in 12 days, nobody's going to be talking about this. And in 12 weeks, few people are going to remember it except those who lost loved ones. I totally agree.
And let me now play for you the two clips we found of President Obama and Mitt Romney from 2007 talking about assault weapons.
I signed an assault weapon ban in Massachusetts as governor because it provided for a relaxation of licensing requirements for gun owners in Massachusetts, which was a big plus. And so both the pro-gun and anti-gun lobby came together with a bill, and I signed that.
We need to close the gun show loophole. We need to tighten our background checks by improving the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. We need to make the expired assault weapon ban permanent.
So there we have it. In their own words, in 2007, Governor Romney in Massachusetts wanting to bring in a ban on assault weapons, and Barack Obama, before he became president, making it very clear what he would do. Neither has said a word in the light of the biggest single shooting in the history of their country. And, you know, I'm afraid that it looks from the outside as if it's a form of moral and political cowardice.
It's really disgraceful as far as I'm concerned. And of course, I'm most disappointed by the individual that you showed there that I think does know what needs to be done. And I think privately must be very shaken by this and wondering what he should be doing. I would hope that that's the case. But then again, I live in a country where the same president, who I voted for and will again, but you know, he was willing to, he pushed through a health care bill that left 26 million Americans still uncovered. What other nation is there in the Western world that does this to their people, that allows thousands of them to die every year because they can't afford to go see a doctor? I mean, this is again, I'm going to keep coming back to it, Piers. What is it about us that we are so cruel to each other?
I think it's a fascinating question, and I think it's one that many Americans are wrestling with. Let's take another break. Let's come back. I've got some Twitter questions for you, Facebook questions. We asked viewers to send in their questions, very lively, as you'd imagine. I'll give you a taster. Somebody called @LouisLouis tweeted, "Laws don't prevent people from committing crime, just like salads don't prevent people from getting fat." So let's discuss the public's view of this debate after the break.